Alright, so what we're going to do here is show you the appropriate steps to repair a ceiling using the Hamilton method, which is a method that was created so that ceilings didn't have to be painted. As you can see here, I've got a piece of rock that's textured that we're going to say a reset was cut in the wrong place. The first step, which I've already done here, is to remove the texture around the area, and it's pretty simple. Simply take a sponge, soak it in water, and then just pat around your texture, and then come back with a putty knife and the texture will scrape right off. So that's step number one to get into our goal of repairing this hole. So as you can see here, we've patched the hole that was put in the wrong spot using a Hamilton, what we like to call in the business a hot mud, which is a chemically enhanced mud that's made to dry in a certain amount of time. What we used here was a 15-minute mud, so we're waiting for it to dry. Then we'll sand it down, make it smooth, and then the next step will show you the process of making it all blend back into the ceiling. So stay tuned. Step 3, when you're using the Hamilton system, we don't paint our ceiling. So what you're seeing is texture. So now, obviously, we can't blow texture over this and it not show up. So what we're going to do is go over our patch with Specialty Adhesives Vapor Barrier, which is $77.99. And this vapor barrier has a pigment in it, has titanium in it. It will give you a single color to lay texture back down on top of. So in the field, you could just use a paintbrush, paint it all, and it may take 1 or 2 coats to do this, to get it a solid white base to lay your texture on. So I'm going to paint this on. We're going to let it dry, see if we need a second coat, then put a second coat on if needed, and then we'll go into the next step. So what we see here is 3 coats of vapor barrier. That's what it took to give us a solid color across the board. Typically in the plants they're using a airless sprayer when they apply vapor barrier. So in an ideal situation it would be to spray it on so that you're not having to put coat after coat after coat. But I know that in the field most people are going to use a paintbrush. So it may take up to 3 or 4 coats to get one solid color out of this $77.99 vapor barrier. So now our next step is to blow our Hamilton fast dry orange peel texture on here, and then our patch should be complete. Once again, the vapor barrier is the key to do this. On a ceiling that's being done in a plant that's not being painted, when you're just using your vapor barrier texture and then that you're done, it's very important when you patch and fix and repair to use the same methods. This vapor barrier, Hamilton's texture were designed to match each other, and that's how we're able to do this. Other products you're going to have to paint a ceiling with because the vapor barrier is not going to match the texture. So we're going to go ahead and blow this one on real quick, and we'll be back with a finished product. Alright, as you can see, here's our finished product. We blew our texture on using a gravity-fed hopper. It's very important that when you're blowing texture on with a hopper for any type of patchwork, that you try to blend it and feather out from your patch itself so you don't concentrate all right there. As you can see also that There is no real signs of where there was a patchwork or patch job done. Right here is where it is. And this is raw texture right here. There's no paint, there's nothing on top of it. Laying it over the top of this particular vapor barrier is what makes this happen and creates our sealing texture system. Thanks for watching. We're going to put something else together on cracks, and stay tuned. Alright, what we're going to do now is show you a fast, easy repair method when using the Hamilton drywall products system that we do on our roofs for manufactured housing. We're going to look at just a topical spider type crack that we see from time to time out in the field just from the shifting and whatnot of a house. The preferred method to repair this crack would probably be go through, take all the texture off, peel the tape off, retape and bed it. It's just a very drawn out process. Today we're going to do this just using a caulk. Probably the best caulk to use to do this is going to be a non-siliconized caulk. You want to use, I'm using an acrylic urethane caulk. It seems to work the best. This is a product by Gardner and Gibson. What we're going to do is simply just squeeze a little bit out. If your tube was cut at a sharp point, you could probably just run it down that. We're just going to put a little bit in to try to fill that small crack. Now the problem that you have with most other products when you're trying to do this on a non-painted ceiling is going to be that this caulk's going to yellow over time. So it's going to stand out like a sore thumb. What we're going to do is fill our crack. Try not to fill in all of our texture so that we can't see that problem. We're going to let it dry for a few minutes. So stay tuned and I'll come back and tell you how to finish it out. Okay, so we've caulked in our spider crack, which is, a spider crack's more of a topical crack. That's how we're able to do this. A stress crack would be where there's major separation, etc., or a lift, type of lippage with the board. You probably wouldn't want to use this technique with a stress crack, but just for a topical crack, which is pretty common, this will work. We filled in our spider crack with the acrylic urethane caulk, and we let it dry. And you probably can't see it on camera, but the caulk is kind of a little bright white line right here. So now we've got to make it look right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our specialty adhesive 7799 vapor barrier, which again is made to match this texture, and it's also what our base coat is underneath the texture, and we're just going to paint over the top of the caulk with it. And we're not going to put, we don't want to put stroke marks and stuff in it, so we're just going to kind of dabble it in there. About like so. Now once this product dries, obviously there's a sheen right now. Once this product dries, it'll be the same color as everything else on this board, and it should not stand out. Again, you may have to do this a couple times because you're putting it over a caulk, but let it dry first, see how it looks, because you want to get the caulking covered, because the caulking is eventually going to start to yellow. So check that out. We'll let this dry and then show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, so our caulk's dried. We put our vapor barrier over the top, our vapor barrier primer combo, the $77.99. We let it dry, and as you can see, everything's blended back in with the color of the sealant here. So we've fixed a crack in, you know, a short amount of time, and it looks good. It's non-noticeable, and it'll definitely be non-noticeable when it's 8 feet up in the air. Thanks again for watching us and how we use our Hamilton texture and drywall products, and in combination with our specialty adhesive to combine a system that works well for the manufactured housing industry. Thank you.